Life is made up of choices, small ones and big ones, choices that seem to affect only a moment and others that shape an entire lifetime. And yet, if you look deeply, you will see that even the smallest choice carries weight. A word spoken in haste can build a wall between two souls. A glance of kindness can open a door to trust that was once locked. A decision to hold back anger can save a relationship from breaking. Every choice is like a seed planted, and with time, it grows into something much greater than the moment in which it was planted. That is why, before you act, before you step forward, before you decide, there is something you must whisper, not to yourself, not to the world, but to the one who knows the paths your eyes cannot yet see. Always say this: guide me, not by my will, but by yours. When you pause and breathe these words, something powerful happens. Your heart shifts from carrying the burden of decision alone to placing it into hands stronger than yours. You begin to see that wisdom is not born in the restless mind, but in the quietness of surrender. The world teaches you to decide quickly, to be strong, to never doubt. But strength without guidance becomes recklessness. Speed without direction becomes wandering. To surrender before deciding is not weakness, it is clarity. It is the act of stepping out of the noise of your own fears and desires so that you can hear the whisper of truth that is always present but rarely noticed. Think about the times when you rushed into a choice because you feared missing an opportunity, only to discover later that the opportunity was a trap. Think about the moments when you followed what felt good in the moment, only to find regret in the silence of the night. And then think about the rare times when you paused, when you sought something higher than yourself, when you asked for a light to be shown on the road ahead. How different was the outcome of those decisions? They may not have brought you the quickest pleasure, but they brought you peace. They may not have made sense to those around you, but they kept your soul steady. That is the difference between moving by impulse and moving by guidance. There is a mystery in saying, not my will, but yours. It is the acknowledgement that your vision is limited, your strength is limited, your understanding is limited. You see only a fragment of the path, but there is one who sees the entire road from beginning to end. When you surrender your decision, you are not losing control. You are aligning yourself with a greater wisdom that cannot fail. And so, each time you face a choice, whether it is about relationships, work, health, or even the hidden struggles of your own heart, stop and say, Holy Spirit, guide me. I do not trust my own eyes. I trust yours. This practice is not about religious ritual. It is about discipline, a discipline of humility, a discipline of stillness, a discipline of choosing to lean on what cannot be shaken. Imagine a traveler standing before a fork in the road. To the left is a path wide and filled with people, laughter, and glittering lights. To the right is a narrow path, dim, silent, and empty. Without guidance, the traveler will choose the wide path because it seems safe and promising. But guidance whispers, do not be deceived by appearance. And years later, when the wide road crumbles into emptiness, the traveler who once surrendered to guidance looks back and knows, I was protected, though I did not see. Every decision you make flows from two places: fear or trust. Fear makes you cling, rush, grasp, and settle. Trust makes you wait, listen, release, and follow. And trust can only grow when you learn to ask for it, when you learn to seek the Spirit before you step. This is why you must speak these words before every decision, for words shape intention, and intention shapes destiny. When you speak, guide me, not by my will, but by yours. You remind yourself that you are not the ultimate authority. You become like water flowing in the riverbed, shaped by a greater hand, not resisting, but moving gracefully toward where you are meant to be. But remember, asking for guidance is not about receiving instant answers that shout in your ears. It is about cultivating sensitivity. The Spirit speaks in whispers, not in thunder. The whisper may come as a sudden peace in the midst of confusion. It may come as a small hesitation that warns you not to step too quickly. It may come as a thought that repeats itself until you can no longer ignore it. It may come as a door that closes, not because you were unworthy, but because you were being protected. You must learn to trust that the absence of clarity is also clarity. Sometimes the silence is the answer, wait. Sometimes the delay is the answer, not now. Sometimes the closed door is the answer, not this way. The discipline is to keep saying the words even when you do not feel anything. For it is not about feelings, it is about faith. Each time you say, guide me, you are building a bridge between your will and the higher will. Each time you surrender, your inner eyes open a little more, and slowly, decision by decision, your life shifts from being a collection of random events to becoming a path of meaning. And what happens when you forget to say it? What happens when you rush, when you decide from pride, when you lean only on your own understanding? You may find yourself entangled, burdened, restless. But even then, the invitation remains. You can stop in the middle of the wrong path and say, guide me. And the Spirit will not condemn you for having walked without asking. Instead, it will turn you gently, redirecting your steps toward where you are meant to be. So practice it in the small choices, not only the big ones. Before you speak to someone in anger, say, guide me. Before you respond to an opportunity that looks appealing, say, guide me. Before you commit your time, your energy, your heart, say, guide me. For if you can surrender the small, you will learn to surrender the great. And when the greatest decisions of your life arrive, you will not tremble in fear, for you will already be trained to trust. Do not think this practice makes life easier. In truth, it may make life harder at first because you will be asked to wait when you want to move. You will be asked to release when you want to hold. You will be asked to step into uncertainty when you want control. But in that difficulty lies the refining of your soul. It is in surrender that strength is formed, not in stubbornness. It is in yielding that clarity emerges, not in forcing. What you will discover over time is that decisions made with the Spirit carry a weight of peace that cannot be shaken even when storms come. For storms will come. Even the path of guidance is not free of pain, not free of trial, but the difference is this: when you have surrendered your decision, the storm does not destroy you. You are anchored. You may bend, but you will not break. You may weep, but you will not despair, because you know that the choice you made was not yours alone. It was guided. And so let these words be your prayer before every step, your breath before every choice, your anchor before every leap. Guide me not by my will, but by yours. For in this surrender, you will find not only direction, but also freedom. Freedom from the illusion that you must always know what is best. Freedom from the fear of missing what was never meant for you. Freedom from the weight of regret that comes when you decide without wisdom. Freedom to walk in peace, knowing that you are led. With the more you practice this, the more you will notice how the noise around you fades. The voices of fear, pressure, and doubt lose their power. You no longer chase every opportunity in desperation, for you know not every opportunity is yours. You no longer cling to every relationship in fear of loss, for you know not every relationship is meant to stay. You no longer grasp for control because you understand that the one who guides you holds the map already. And when you live this way, decisions stop being heavy burdens and become holy moments. And so every moment of choice becomes less about the weight of your own understanding and more about the quiet strength of trust. You begin to see that the path was never meant to be walked in isolation, never meant to be carried by your own wisdom alone. Each decision becomes a dialogue, each step becomes a prayer, and each outcome becomes a testimony that you are not abandoned to wander blindly. To whisper those simple words before you decide is to remind yourself that your life is not a series of accidents, but a carefully guided journey. In that surrender, you find not only direction but peace, not only clarity but strength. We not only answers, but a deeper connection with the one who leads you faithfully through every unknown.